Today on the channel, we're going to check out this crazy guitar by Volkswagen and First Act. Here it is, the Volkswagen guitar by First Act. So in 2006, Volkswagen ran this promotion where if you bought a Volkswagen Jetta or a GTI or a GLI Jetta or a Rabbit or one of the new Beetles or a Beetle convertible, they gave you this guitar with the guitar purchase. And one of the catches was you could play it through the auxiliary input on your car and rock out with your new Volkswagen. So pretty cool concept, and actually this is a really neat guitar, so I wanted to show it on the channel today. Interestingly enough, you couldn't get this guitar if you bought a Touareg or a Passat, so I guess they were catering to the younger generation, which makes sense, but you know, us old guys like guitars too. I mean, I'm not that old, but I think if I was my age back in 2006, I would like this guitar with a Touareg or a Passat, even though I might be older or maybe a little more sophisticated. But anyway, this guitar was made in China. It's got a C-shaped neck. I don't know what these pickups are. I mean, they're just cheap little pickups. It's a First Act guitar, first of all. It's got 22 frets. It's got an interesting bridge. This bridge is like a tunematic bridge, but it's a string through body. So they've got this little chrome plate as like a cosmetic detail. Partly functional. Strings come through the body and up over the tunematic bridge. What makes this guitar pretty unique is it's got a built-in preamp. So this is, and we'll demonstrate this. I'm going to plug this into my Jetta and see what it sounds like. This is a distortion, or the active electronics, so you don't have to have it plugged in for this to turn on. Now when this is turned on, this switch activates the distortion on and off. That's on, that's off. And this is distortion, and that's fuzz. So you have two different types of gain stages. So you've got a distortion and a fuzz. We'll demonstrate this through one of my combo amps just to hear it without it going through the car, and then we'll go out to I've got a Jetta Sport Wagon. So we'll go out there and plug it in and jam out. Pretty neat. It's got 3 pick guards. This is so you can access the obviously this pickup, and this control panel is for all the electronics. I'm not going to open this up. I'm not going to go full-blown troggly and open this up and test everything. I'm not going to do it. But and we got one up here for the 3-way switch. This has Volkswagen knobs. That's kind of a neat little detail. They've got these raised edges. They kind of look like tires, sort of. And then on the 12th fret, you've got a Volkswagen logo. And then up on the truss rod cover, you've got the guy doing the Volkswagen symbol. When I first saw that, I thought it was the shocker, but it's the Volkswagen logo. And the illustrious First Act logo, so you could jam this at a gig with pride. Die-cast tuners, these things are super cheap. This bridge, all this is die-cast, and I never really play this guitar. I just like Volkswagen, so a friend of mine sold this to me for literally $100 a few years ago, and I picked it up. But I can see wear and tear on these saddles a little bit just from it not even being used. But the input jack is here on the side, and just your standard tuning pegs, not tuning pegs, but strap buttons. And let me turn this thing over. It's a solid body guitar. I have no idea what kind of wood this is made out of. It's probably poplar or basswood, but it's got a set neck. Not a set neck. I can't talk today, guys. I'm so sorry. It's got a bolt-on neck. It's got the Volkswagen logo on it. That's cool. I kind of like how the heel of this thing is rounded. Not that you're going to be shredding on this thing and needing the heel access, but it's pretty cool, man. It's ergonomic. Everything on this guitar is kind of round, so even this is round. This takes a 9-volt battery. 9-volt goes in there. Strings go through the body. This is a really small string through piece here. I mean, this looks small compared to like a back of a Telecaster. Telecasters look like they should be like this. I'm sure the string alignment's the same, like the distance. It just looks tiny. Maybe it's just deceiving because this doesn't have ferrules. It's got this metal plate. And then one of my favorite things about this guitar is on the back of the headstock, the serial number is actually the VIN number of the car that you bought. So I should look up this. I should look this up if there's like a VIN number search I can go through for free and see what car this was. But whoever owns this car now, I've got your guitar, so you can contact me. We'll work out a deal. But this looks like a maple neck. It's got some kind of a satiny feel to it. It feels like it's been maybe lightly sprayed with some kind of clear coat, but it feels really good. This guitar's set up nice. It actually plays really good. It sounds good through an amp. The fuzz is workable. The distortion sounds decent. So, I mean, really, if you're a Volkswagen guy or a collector of just weird guitars, this would be a cheap way to find something sort of unique. And who knows, maybe one day these things will be worth $400. But in this video, I'm going to show you the commercial that they advertised when they sold this guitar, or gave you this guitar for free. Slash promoted this campaign, and so did John Mayer, which in hindsight, when you look back at 2006, 2007, when they were doing this, John Mayer and Slash, even back then, were putting their name on just about everything. So I guess he opted out of this. John Mayer opted out of this for the Silver Sky. and Slash went exclusively Les Paul. But Volkswagen had a website called vdubsrock.com. I'll put that in the description. v-dubsrock.com, which no longer works. At least I can't get it to pull up. But there's lots of information on the internet about these guitars. So I'll do some close-ups of this while we play the John Mayer and the Slash commercials in the corner, so you can check it out.
Get a Volkswagen and receive a custom First Act guitar. Plug into the stereo and rock your V-dub from bumper to bumper. Get a Volkswagen and receive a custom First Act guitar. Plug into the stereo and rock just like Slash.
The last thing that I wanted to bring up was you got a really cool case with the First Act Volkswagen guitar. It's got this embroidered VW logo on it, and it's got the compartment in here you can store stuff in. Unfortunately, I can't find the strap that this thing came with, but I do have it. But the strap was a seat belt. They actually had a Volkswagen seat belt that was a guitar strap. So that's pretty awesome. I got to dig up this, go through some of my cases and gig bags, but I've got the seat belt guitar strap somewhere. It also came with the cables, the 1/4 inch to TRS cables to input it into your car. So they gave you the full setup. But that's the gig bag that came with it. Now we will check out what this thing sounds like through an amp first, and then we'll test it out in the Jetta. For today's audio demo, I'm just going to run a condenser microphone in front of this little Fender Champ clean, and then we're going to test the way that this Volkswagen guitar sounds in this amp, and then try it in the Jetta. Okay, so here we go. This right here is the preamp. It's on when that blue light is on. And what's interesting about this is just the dry sound. Sounds like that, okay? So we're in the bridge pickup with this preamp switch on. This knob acts as a volume knob. So check this out. So does that. So it's got dual volumes. One's for the preamp, one's the master volume. This is the tone. All right, so with the preamp switch off, this knob does nothing. Then the master volume works, okay? All right, so we'll turn the preamp on. I'm gonna bring this volume down a little bit because the distortion gets really loud. So now we're gonna engage this first switch. This first switch here engages the distortion. And with this switch in the down position, it's just regular distortion. When it's up, it's fuzz. So this is just the distortion setting. And then without distortion, neck. Turn the preamp on. Now we're back on distortion. It's really loud when it's all the way up, so we got to bring this back, which could be handy. It could be really handy if you were doing solos with this. You'd have your own dB boost for your leads. So this thing about half volume is about as loud as it would be just normally full volume. Okay, so let's try the fuzz. So here's the fuzz. Back to the distortion. Roll the tone all the way back. Now with the fuzz. Interesting, it cuts out. It cuts out on the G string. It's almost like these magnets and these pickups aren't picking up the tone. Works the same way with this. So like with the fuzz on, not getting anything. Let's try distortion. All right, so with the tone all the way back up, we get it. So there it is, the Volkswagen guitar in all its glory. Now we'll test it out on the Jetta and see what this thing sounds like. Nothing says rock and roll like a station wagon, a Volkswagen station wagon at that. So we're gonna check this out now, plug this thing into the Volkswagen and crank it up. Here we are on the Jetta. I'm gonna plug this thing in. We're gonna turn it on and see if this thing sounds pretty good. So first and foremost, let me plug this into the input jack. All right, we've got the cable plugged into the aux input. I've got the stereo set on auxiliary. So clean sound. All right, there's a really bad delay from the guitar signal to the stereo. Check this out. So it's going to be pretty impossible for me to do a really decent playing demo, but at least we'll get an idea of what this sounds like. So I guess it's usable, but with that delay, it renders it impossible to jam in your car. So the moment we've all been waiting for, I'm going to turn the distortion on. So we've got it on distortion mode. This is not the fuzz setting, it's distortion. Alright, cool. There's a delay in there, check it out. I don't know if you can hear that. It's got like a 10% feedback. Alright, we're gonna go fuzz mode. It's really weird playing with that delay. All right, so I guess in a pinch, to impress your friends or just to do something kind of crazy, it would work. But there you go, the Volkswagen guitar.